Hi, I'm going to give you a brief overview of how to use Prezi specifically for your project in Dr. Owens' class. So let's first take a look at Prezi and why you would even want to use it. The important thing to remember about Prezi is that it's not PowerPoint, and that's the most important thing. PowerPoint is very linear, Prezi is not, and therefore you really shouldn't waste your time using Prezi to just make a linear PowerPoint style presentation. Only take the time to learn Prezi if you really want to get in and make it a more interesting and non-linear type of presentation. So let's take a look at a couple that I found that I feel like sort of shows you the direction that you might be able to go with this. So here we have a presentation on navigating the flipped classroom. And I can progress through this in a linear manner. So you'll see that I can hit these buttons here on the left and right, and I can go through the presentation just as I normally would in a PowerPoint. But I think what's cool about this one is in addition to this sort of a view where I can go through everything, I have this home view, which shows me that this presentation is a giant infographic, basically. And what I love about this is that this infographic kind of stands on its own. You'll see that here we have this image of a classroom up here. Here we have a little bit of a flow chart that you go through. It's a really nice graphic, and so I can then zoom into any section of this that I want to and go through the section of the presentation without having to navigate linearly through all of them. And then at any point I can get back. So this infographic gives not only a fabulous overview of the whole presentation, but it's a great way to sort of tie the whole thing in at the end. And so you'll see this is something that you could never have done in PowerPoint. Let me get out of full screen here and let's go into the other one. And this one again is a great example of how to use that overview. So this is customer service putting the pieces together. You'll see my intro image is actually them putting the pieces together. And as we go through this, you'll see that you can zoom way in. So again, with PowerPoint, you're looking at a set image size, a set slide size. But when you're looking at Prezi, you'll see when we get in there that it's an enormous canvas, and that canvas can be zoomed into, zoomed out of to show different components. So again, I'll go through and I see this is slide 1. You'll notice you can still do animations if you want, but this is what I like the most. So I have all of these pieces then, and you'll see that this, while you can do this part in PowerPoint, is really geared more toward graphics and less toward text. All right, and that's an important thing to remember. You don't want to fill this full of text. You really need to make it graphics heavy, graph heavy, keywords, images, video, that kind of thing, and allow your voice for your voiceover to kind of fill in all of the text-based gaps. Only put things in here that are key to getting your point across. Don't put a million bulleted lists. Again, using text when text is important, but you'll see then delivering this like 3.5 plus 20%, that really highlights that text, that information. All right, so we'll get out of this. So I just wanted to show you those two because I felt like that they offered sort of an individual or a unique look at Prezi. There's all sorts of Prezis that you can take a look at, and I'm going to go to Prezi.com to get us started. And when you're first coming in here, I recommend that you go to this Explore tab up here. Take a look at what some other people have done. They have tied, some of them are not very good, but some of them are quite good, and you'll see how they have tied these into an image or a graphic overview that sort of ties the whole theme and concept together. Right, so definitely take a look at this Explore area. All right, so this one, we're in Prezi, and again, it's Prezi.com, and just go ahead and create a free account. And when you guys start yours, you'll go to New Prezi, and I would recommend that you go ahead and start a blank one. Because as with all presentations, content is king. The graphic design and the templates and the colors, that's last. That's the least of your worries. So I've already sort of started one here, and I'm going to click on this Untitled Prezi just to show you where we are. This is what we've got so far. Let's zoom out here. So I have Springfield Elementary, and I didn't hide these things super deep. I just stuck some things on there so you could see how this works. But here's Springfield. Here we have an image, and we have a graphic that defines like the ethnic breakdown of the school. Here I have some interviews.
So, you are interested in teaching at Harlem Village Academies, Mr.
Hugh Jackman.
All right, so you'll see that you can put YouTube videos in there, and we'll look at how to put videos from your own computer in there. And then I have my key points, and you'll see here that I can still put bulleted lists, and I can still put key points in there if I want. All right, so let's go ahead. I'll scroll down here at the bottom. I'm just going to choose Edit, and let's go ahead and add some things for another school. All right, when you come into Prezi, you'll come into a very large blank canvas, and I'm going to zoom out to just sort of show you that canvas. See that I can keep zooming out, keep zooming out, keep zooming out, keep zooming out until you can't even see what I've got on my canvas. So it's really, this is probably the most difficult thing for people to wrap their head around, is that there is no boundaries. The boundaries can keep on going and keep on going. So let's drop in here, click back on my home screen. Home will always get you back to sort of the center area. And we'll take a look at adding some of our own stuff. So we've done a circle here with Springfield Elementary. Now let's do one with C.E. Williams. So I'm going to come up here and use this circle frame. I'm just going to click the plus, but you'll see under here I can do brackets, rectangles, or an invisible frame, and we'll look at those in a minute. But what a frame does is it sort of gives you a boundary. It sticks it on here, and I'm going to grab the hand to move it over. And then you'll use these corner pieces here to make it bigger and smaller. All right. Now if I want it to be the same size as my original circle, I'll just put it over here and make it bigger and smaller until it matches. And I can drag it over here. So I'm going to go with a Venn diagram sort of thing here today. All right, so there's my first circle. Now let's add another circle. And this one, I want to be the same as this one. So again, I'll just make it about the same size, drag it over here. And now let's just click in here and write C.E. Williams. All right, now I've got 3 styles: title, subtitle, body. You'll notice I also can shrink my text, make it bigger. I have text color, bold, italics, highlight, bulleted lists, numbered lists. If you don't see all of those, it's because you have to click on this little arrow. All right, so I'm going to zoom out a little bit more. I'm going to make this subtitle text because that's what this is. So I want to make it the same size as this, and I'm going to do that by just grabbing this to make it larger and smaller, grab the corner, and if you watch to the left on the word Springfield Elementary, when they become the same size font, Springfield gets a box around it, and that tells me that this is the same size font as Springfield. And I want to make it centered, so I'll click on that and choose centered. Highlight it, sorry. All right. Now we'll grab it and drag it to the middle. All right, so I've got my text. Now, We're going to zoom in and we're going to add a picture of C.E. Williams. So I'm zooming in. I'm just using my mouse to zoom in, but you can also use this plus and minus over here. So I'm going to zoom in, and under the Insert menu, let's choose Image. Now I don't have an image of C.E. Williams, so the first thing I want to do is try over here. And Google brings up a picture for me, so I'm just going to double click it, and it's going to add it over here into my Prezi. Now, depending on how large the picture is, this may take a little while. So while this is processing, I'll show you how to add an image from your computer. So I'm going to come up here under Select Files. If I don't see this window, let's get out of this. I'm going to close out of this just so you can see again. So I'll click the X. I'm going to do Insert, Image, and this time I'll say Select Files. This is how I can get an image from my computer. Let's go to the desktop, and I have a Prezi folder here somewhere. And I'm going to choose this pie chart graphic. We'll assume in theory that it's a pie chart. We'll resize image. We'll assume it's a real pie chart that I got from C.E. Williams. All right, so now I have these guys both on here. So now I've added those images. So again, I said insert image, and then I searched for my image over here. For this one, I had created it, and so I'm just going to upload it. Now let's zoom back out again. And the next thing we want to do is add our interviews. So again, I'm just going to double click in here and type in the word interviews. And again, let's zoom in. And I'll say Insert, YouTube Video. So before I can use a YouTube video, you'll see that I have to know the link to it. So let's open another window, and we'll find a YouTube video that maybe you posted up to YouTube. And I've just selected this video, the volume down, so that you can see how I do this. So I've got the video, and I'm just going to scroll down and hit share and take this link right here. I'll copy it, come over here and paste it, and hit insert. And again, I can make it larger and smaller. And to go along with the way I did it on the other one, you'll notice that when I mouse over it, I have this controller here at the bottom corner. If I grab that, I can rotate it. All right, so we've got that. Now I can do the same thing if I wanted to upload a video from my computer. Again, we'll say Insert, and we'll say From File, and you'll see right here it says this allows you to insert a PDF or a video. I'll go ahead and choose a video. All right, we'll come back and check on this in just a little bit. Then the last thing I want to do, let's zoom out, come over here, and do my key points. This time I'm going to do the bracket, so I'll say bracket, bracket, so I'll click this and drag it over here so I can see it. I'm going to make it quite a bit smaller, so it sort of matches the one over here. And again, we'll zoom way in and just add my key points. You get the gist. Make it larger. I can color the font, italics, bold, whatever you want to do to it. Zoom way out. And you'll see, oh, our video is ready. So we'll scroll back in again. Again, let's shrink it and rotate it so that it matches the other one. All right. So we've gone through and we've created everything that we want to have in our presentation, right? We have the name of our school, our key points, our interviews, the images, whatever we want, but you're building this bigger component, this bigger graphic, so to speak. Maybe to make this a little bit more engaging, I can then follow it up by putting similarities between the two schools in this middle area here, because that is, since it is sort of a Venn diagram, that's what I could do here. You could do lessons learned in a unique way. You could take an image and make that your background and put all of this stuff on an image. The important point is that you set your thing, your whole final presentation up first before you determine a path that the presentation will follow, all right? The path is what shows up over here on the left. And you can see that as I've been creating things, it's been making paths for me. But they're not necessarily paths that I want. So what we'll do is, let me shrink my window so I can see the bottom of my screen here a little bit better. I'm going to choose Edit Path. And I'm just going to delete all the paths. So down here at the bottom, I'm just going to say Clear All, because I'm going to show you how we'll go about making this path. All right, the first thing I want to do is I want to show my whole overview graphic, because this is going to give me a starting point. So what I want to do is tell it to use this area right here. So I can do that in a number of ways. I can zoom in and out until I see exactly what I want. And then down here, under Edit Path, say Add Current View. And you'll see that this now becomes my starting point, and it put the path over here. All right, the next thing I want in my path is going to be just this circle for Springfield Elementary School. So while we have Edit Path selected, I'm going to come over here and select. You'll see as I start from here, but I move my mouse around things and the number 2 shows up. So I'm going to put my mouse on the circle, and you'll see that the little circle kind of highlights. And we're just going to click, and then it goes ahead and it adds one there. Now as we zoom in, I would like to do one on this whole item here. So I'll click on this. Next, I want to do the word interviews, so I'll click on this. You'll see the 4 shows up over here on the side. And I want to play this video. This video I think might be messed up, but we'll select it. Then I'm going to click on this because it'll play next. We'll come over here, click key points, and then I'll click down here on the bracket. All right, so I'll zoom out, and we're going to do the exact same thing on this side. That again, there's 2 items, so I can click on one item and zoom in on just it. But if I want to zoom in on both of them together, again, I need to say Add Current View. And then again, we're going to zoom out of everything and finish our presentation with this view. So I'll say Add Current View. All right, so let's see what this looks like when we go to Present. Go back up here to the top and hit Present in the upper right corner. So again, it shows us what we wanted, the big view. It zooms in on the circle, now on these 2, now on interviews. The video begins to play automatically when you hit it. Same with this one. View. I'm just going to hit the Escape key on my keyboard to get out of this and get back into the save mode. And so now we've set up our presentation. If you would like to do a voiceover for this presentation, then what you'll need to do first is record the voice using something like Audacity or GarageBand. Audacity is a free download for both Windows and Mac. GarageBand is a Mac-only product, but you'll need to record that separately for each of these slides over here, and then save it onto your desktop. All right, so to add our voiceover, so what we've done is we've recorded our voice, we've saved it on our computer for each of these slides, and now we're going to add it. So I'm going to come to the very first slide and right-click on it. If you're on a Mac, it's going to be the control click, and we'll choose Add Voiceover to Path Step. So it opens it up. I'm going to choose my first file here, and we'll say Done. Now I'm going to come down here, right-click again, or control-click, Add Voiceover to Path. I'll add my second one. It uploads. We say Done. So I'll just continue throughout the process. So now when I come back and I do Present, you'll notice that there's a play button down here in the lower left corner, and when I click on it, it auto-controls it based on my voiceover.
Spring update for spring 2015. Some things to highlight are
So I'm not moving the mouse at all. It's auto-controlling itself based on the length of my audio file. I'm going to stop this because the voiceover that I've added to this has nothing to do with the presentation, but again, I'll click Escape to get out of presentation mode. And that's basically it. You want to make sure that you give your presentation a title up here. There are definitely other things that you can do to this. You can, under Insert, there's lots of things that you can insert to help jazz this up. Background music, arrows, different layouts. So the layouts are actually really handy if you're trying to show a process. So you have these frames, but the multi-frame are my favorite. So you can add these to help you show process or order. Customize allows you to change the theme, so you can change your color palette. You can actually go to advanced and completely control your own color palette. And font, do everything you want there so you can get crazy with it. But again, remember, content and overview, your overall graphic, is the key to Prezi. When you're finished, this is an online item, so all you have to do is click the share button, hit share your Prezi, and then just copy this link and send it to whoever. That was a very quick and dirty overview of how to do Prezi. There are all sorts of tutorials within Prezi itself if you would like to know more advanced features. I just caution you to make sure that you don't try to make Prezi a PowerPoint. If you do, you have wasted a lot of time and energy using a product that's not meant to be used that way. So good luck and enjoy Prezi.